Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to this webinar. First thing first, some meeting logistic that we want to share with you. If you have any difficulty with the Zoom technical support, we put the number on the screen to call, and then you have to choose option 2 to reach the technical support for the Zoom. Always make sure your microphones are muted. This webinar will be recorded. Sarah will automatically mute everybody for that purpose. And as we present the information to you, if you do have any question or anything that needs clarification, please use the Q&A box to add your questions. As we said, this is going to be recorded. So in the future, if you want to go back and look at this, this is the website where you are going to get the recorded webinar. Again, thank you for joining us to this webinar. So just to make sure that you are in a webinar of the Higher Education Challenge program for the year 2024. This is the RFA announcement and technical assistant webinar. So we'll cover mainly the RFA of this program and any technical assistance that is required with that to contact us for further help. I just want to share with you the non-discrimination statement of the USDA. So USDA is a non-discriminatory agency. So we have this statement on the website, which is listed if you want to go back and look. I will give you some time to read it, but USDA is an equal opportunity provider, an employer and lender. And this program is part of USDA, and the same, it doesn't discriminate based on those listed criteria. Just to introduce ourselves, the program staff, I myself, I am the program leader for this program. Here with me, Sarah Campbell. She might say hi.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Campbell, a program specialist in the Division of Community and Education. I'm here to support for the Higher Education Challenge program this year. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at the email on the screen.
Thank you, Sarah. Here we have also Donovan. He's also used to be the program specialist for this program. He's a backup program as well. He's very knowledgeable, so he's always joining us. Thank you, Donovan. You want to say hi?
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you, Dr. Solomon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donovan McLaurin. I worked with the Higher Education Challenge program in the past, and I'm here to just offer some additional support. Thank you.
Yeah, so these are the contact people for the program. So our emails are listed here. If you do have any question after this presentation, you are welcome to send us by email. We like if your questions are specific enough, we'll have immediate answers. If the questions are something that requires us to consult our policy, we'll do that as well. Always, we are in the learning process from our stakeholders, the different questions that we receive. With that, today we are going to cover the, to some of you, we might want to know about NIFA, what it covers, a little bit overview about that. And the rest of the program will be devoted for the program overview, the request for application details of the document, We'll talk about the proposal evaluation process at NIFA and this program in particular. And at the end, Sarah will add some additional information and resource related to this program. So we'll ask your patience, and as we go, if you do have any question, please use the Q&A question box to put your questions, and then I will go through the questions by one after the presentation. Thank you again for coming to this webinar. So for some of you, NIFA might be a new agency that you are dealing with. So just to give you a little bit overview what NIFA is, it's one of the agencies of the US Department of Agriculture. There are 3 activities that NIFA is known for. The first and the most fundamental one is it is an external scientific funding agency, and we are located within the research and education and economics mission area. So USDA has different mission areas. This is our location for NIFA. And NIFA is also known to invest and support initiatives that ensure the long-term viability of agriculture, especially the US agriculture. NIFA provides funding and strategic leadership for the programs to ensure breaking down groundbreaking discoveries in agriculture-related science and technologies, as well as to reach to those people who might use it, in this case, mostly the landowners. So if you are wondering what topics is NIFA covering, very wide range of topics are covered. This is all within the food and agriculture sciences. So when we talk about food and agriculture science, it includes all these topics, which are about 12 of them in here. It includes human science, plant science, food science, and food and nutrition security, business and economics, natural resource. It's a very wide range of topic as compared to the different programs that we have. You might find yourself in one of these topics and explore the different programs within NIFA to apply for funds. So as you can see, we have very much a wide range of topics that includes very much within some of these topics. This particular program falls within the education part. So we'll go further with this program on the detail. So it's one of the educational programs that we have in NIFA. So what's the Higher Education Challenge Program include? So the main purpose of this program is to increase or to improve the quality of instruction, particularly for the bachelor level, master's level, or first professional degree in veterinary. This all has to be particularly in the field of food and agriculture science. And at the same time, this program entails to increase the number of participants in the food and agriculture science to increase the number and diversity of students within this area. And the focus is post-secondary degree. We'll come back to the focus, the primary focus of the program as it's stated in the RFA. Here are the priority program goals that this program tries to reach in. These goals are required by applicants to make results are aligned to these goals. So it's not necessary for an applicant just to fulfill all the goals, because the focus of a proposal might vary from applicant to applicant, but you have to try to make sure that the goals of the proposal or the items that you are trying to address should align to these goals. So that's one of the criteria. They are located on page 6 to 7 in the RFA. I encourage you to look into those goals and try to make sure at least you have to attain one of these goals when you are applying your proposal. So what's the expectation that we look into the proposals? First, there has to be a measurable impact that aligns with these specific goals that I mentioned in the previous one. It has to promote innovative educational practices within the food and agricultural science that improves how students learn. And it also is expected to include a rigorous evaluation component to assess the project outcome, whether these outcomes are going to be met or not. So these three items are some of the expectation we look forward from a proposal that is going to be submitted to this program. As I said, the primary focus of the program is anything above a bachelor degree or graduate, or it also includes the first professional degree for in case of the veterinary medicine. It does not focus on two-year college or high school programs. When I say this is a primary focus, the proposal should focus on this one, but it doesn't mean it doesn't include high school or a two-year degree college. For example, the two-year degree college might collaborate with a program that has a bachelor degree in food and agricultural science in another college to make the recruitment go smooth. So with regard to the primary focus, we have to identify the primary application or the target of the program should be a bachelor, graduate, or first professional degree level in veterinary science. So we get a lot of questions about this all the time, whether at college level or associate degree programs are target of this program. In that case, it should be something that is geared toward the bachelor degree or graduate degree, or in veterinary medicine, the first level of the professional degree. On those programs becomes the focus, and the other as a supporting activity can be implemented. The eligibility part of this program, it's a wide range of entities are eligible for this program. As you can see, the usual suspect, the land grant college and universities. The most important thing that is needs to be fulfilled is the institution that is applying for this program should be capable to carry out the teaching of food and agricultural science at the level that the primary focus that we are talking about. So if an institution, it could be a US public or private or non-profit college, if they have this program, they are eligible to apply. So very much a lot of the institutions are included in the application. So the application submission and also award limitation, these are the two frequent questions we get. And with regard to the application, there is no cap of number that a particular institution can submit. So no cap on the number of applications that an eligible institution may submit. But with regard to the award, there is some limitations that is placed in this program. The successful applicants, they can only get a maximum of 2 awards per year. So we'll come back to the type of projects that are allowed within this program, but whatever the type of the project is, only 2 awards are going to be allowed. With regard to the CG2, which is the collaborative grant 2, which is the bigger amount of money, we only allow 1 grant per institution if they are going to be awarded, and they are eligible and they are qualified for this, and they pass through the panel process. And at the end, only one of this grant will be awarded. Another limitation that is also indicated in the RFAs, if a single unit or college has already an active CG2 grant, in that case, we are not going to allow that award to go to that particular unit. This is for the sake of distributing the resources among the different units and institutions. This is one of the restrictions that you have to be aware of. So if there is any CG2 grant in your unit or department or college, make sure that that particular grant is closed before you are going to be eligible for this type of grant. There are 2 types of application that we expect in this program. The new application, which is the usual and more of the numbers that we receive. And sometimes your application was not successful last year, then this year you are allowed to reapply. And in that case, it will be resubmitted application. So in that case, this is kind of application comes with an opportunity and also with some responsibilities. The opportunity is you are doing it second time, second chance, and that's a good opportunity by itself, but you have to respond to the previous review panel summary. And this year we have increased the number of pages that are allowed for this. We made them 2. Last year we were asking 1 page only. We found out we need more space to explain yourself. Then this is what the change is this year. So anything else, they are considered and treated equally like the other application. So whatever changes has applied this year, there is no one in the criteria, but if it does, then it will be applied to the resubmitted one. They are not treated differently than other application. These are the type of projects and grant types that are in this program. The program itself or the project type that we are looking for is educational. So it's not a research or extension activity. It's educational teaching grant or a project. There are 4 types of grants that we administer under this program. The first one is the planning activity, as the name indicates. It's a small amount of money that will be used to plan your activity. If you are planning to apply a bigger project, you want to have collaborators to make that happen, you might need a planning time. So this is a good opportunity for you to apply to use for that purpose. The standard one is within the same goals and priorities, but the scope of level that you are going to address in this one, it could be at a program level or at a course level, which is very much, within the program level scope of issues will be addressed. If you have more issues to address, like at the institution level, then you have to, you're going to need more resources. and more collaboration. In that case, the collaborative one is a good way to go. It reaches about 300,000. And in this case, as I'm going to indicate later, you need a collaborator. The fourth one is the collaborative 2, which we call it CG2. And this is the highest amount of funding. And then you need more collaborators to do this kind of project. And the type of project that you want to address in this one are in scope, regional ones, or different across institution or national issues within the priority and goals that we have mentioned. Many asks about the CG1 and the CG2 difference. The difference between those two are mainly the scope of the issue that are addressed within the projects, but also the requirements for collaboration is also another difference that we see. So for CG1, you need at least one partner, but for CG2, your partner or collaborators have to be at least 2. And in the case of CG1, like I said, it addresses significant issues that are affecting at institutional level. But in CG2, we expect the project to deal with a state or regional problem in the goals and priorities that we mentioned before. With regard to the allocation or sharing of the funds, we have some guideline on that one. When it comes to collaborating with another institution, it's very important the resource is also shared. So we expect you to share about half of the fund to the other collaborator to do the activities. And in the case of the CG2, the other collaborators, they should have at least 10%, depending on the number of the collaborators. So you can keep like 30 to 50% of the funding to the primary or the leading institution. The educational needs that are needs to show in each proposal, you have to choose what kind of educational needs you are addressing. These are the 3 educational needs that this program we want to address to: the curriculum development, instructional delivery system, expanding the students' career opportunity. This is the first educational need that is identified in this program. The second one is faculty preparation enhancement for teaching. So anything that is invested on the faculty for professional development, activities that are related to this, you have to mention which of these educational needs you are addressing in the summary. The third one is we want to encourage the collaboration among different institutions. And in that case, if you are choosing to address this one, especially the collaborative type of projects, they have to really work on this area or need area. In the RFA, there are some detailed examples that what type of activity we are talking about when we talk about these educational needs or need areas. You can go on page 10 to I think it's 12. These are the list of activity per need area. So very much we have listed some details of activity, as you can see it in this screen. These are some of the examples. It doesn't mean it's exhaustive. These are not the only ones. You can come up with your own activity that aligns with those need areas. So these are just to give you some examples what kind of need areas we are looking for. Obviously, this is educational fund, so we are not anticipating to fund renovation of facilities, purchasing and installing of equipments, and planning and repairing of buildings or facilities, because there are other programs which are taking care of this kind of activity. So the funds are not geared to this kind of activities, just to be aware of that. So what kind of documents are we looking when you are applying? I will explain in the coming slides what are these documents. But before we do that, there is some resource for this program. We have two types of web page in general in NIFA. The first web page for a program is what we call the program web page, or the grant program page. In this case, the HEC grant program. It gives you some specific information if you visit that one. And then there is a link also for another web page, what we call the program funding opportunity. That's where the RFA is located. I will show you more on the next slide, what they look like, these two websites, just to identify them for yourself. Especially the funding opportunity website has this very famous tabs that are very helpful for your information about the program. The first one is when you want to apply, it takes you to the grant.gov. And the second one is the RFA if you want to download it. And the third tab is today's webinar information. In the other website, which is a more general one, it shows you if the RFA has been posted, the date it was posted, closing date, and also some external resource. Actually, these are more of internal resource. We list also some previously funded HEC projects. This is very useful. A lot of applicants finds it useful to see what kind of projects we have funded before and how they can address their proposal to learn from those projects. The closing date for this application or for this program is March 5, 2024. So we have some time to collaborate to prepare your proposals. So some key information about the program. This is the funding opportunity number. This number is very important to search the program in the grant.gov. The program code is ER, which also has to be included in the application. This is very important code in NIFA. This is how we categorize different programs in our system. So if you miss this code, your application may go somewhere else. So it's very important to include this code and write it correctly. As I mentioned before, the application deadline is March 5th, 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's the cut time. Any application that is submitted after that is considered late. The range is from 30,000 to 750,000, depending on the type of project you choose to apply. So these are the key components that are major that you need to submit. The project summary, and there is a limit on that one. 250 words is the maximum. Of course, it's going to be one page. And there is some template that you can use on the NIFA grant application guide you can download for all NIFA's grants. This template is used to put the summary. The major document, the program narrative. This is the one that tells us what you are going to do in this proposal. So very important document. Anything that is associated with this, the requirements, the formatting, everything has to be followed to the guide, and because it has consequence if you miss any of those information. So with this regard, if you are applying again, so we expect you to put the response of previous review in the first page. And then, the cover page comes after that. And then the project narrative must be 20 pages maximum with a double space with text. We also allow you additional 5 pages to use for figures and table. If you choose to incorporate those figures and table within inside the text, then you will have 25 pages in total. The bibliography reference list is not included in this count. The data management plan is not included. The mentor plan, which are also required for this program, are not included in this count. Other documents are also needed. These documents, it's very important to visit this website. It gives you the general guideline about grant application in NIFA. This year, we come up with this table. Last year, it was not there. We learned from another program. It's very useful for applicants to know a checklist, what are required, and then what's the page limit for those. These requirements are listed within the text, but this table presents all of them in one place for a checklist. Excuse me. And at the same time, it tells you whether it is required, and if it's required, sometimes it may not be required for the type of grants that you are looking for. So it specifies that one in case of for example, G1, CG1 and CG2, in case of reapplication or resubmission of application, you need the response, and then it lists it here. So this is, I would think this particular table, you will find it very useful. And this is a new thing that we have incorporated this year. A data management is required component, and we allow you to write 2 pages on that one. So what is the data management that we are expecting in this document? The expected data type, the data format, the data storage and preservation, data sharing, protection, and public access, how it's going to be done, the roles and responsibilities of different actors with regard to the data. So these things that are going to be generated, or data that are going to be generated from the project, how we are going to manage them. Cost sharing, this program does not require, no matching is required for this one. All your 100% project cost comes from the federal fund that is allocated in this program. Application submission. It's very important to know the application is only done electronically. I think this has been for a while, so but we don't take it for granted. This is the way to apply, and the only place to apply is the grant.gov. And the only format that we accept is PDF. I cannot emphasize more on this one because we receive sometimes in Word some of the parts of the document. But unfortunately, we cannot see if it is in another format. So we cannot pass it for review, or it cannot be reviewed and so on. So it's very important to make sure that this format is followed. So if grant.gov, for example, accepts your different format, but NIFA will not. So that's very important to be aware of. And usually we have seen few problems with third-party PDF builders. So it's we don't advertise for a particular type of PDF format of company, but the associated problem because of different format, make sure that the PDF that you have built is you can open it or it's accessible. Once your application is submitted, it goes to evaluation or review process. So in NIFA, we have established format of evaluating proposals. This is the general steps that NIFA follows for proposals or applications that have been received. So once they are screened for administrative screening, which is fulfilling the requirements, the eligibility, and so on, we screen them administratively, and they are assigned to peer reviewers. We have at least 3 reviewers per proposal, and those reviewers are reviewers who have expertise in the topic that is proposed. And those reviewers, they will read and give individual review for each proposal and evaluates the strengths and weakness of that particular proposal. And this written review are going to be used for discussion when the whole panel of a peer review panel come together for discussion. And at the end, through this discussion, which is the most important and more crucial for determination of whether a particular proposal is going to be funded or not, is on the consensus that is reached by the peer review panel. So this is done by ranking the proposals, and based on the amount available fund, we try to fund as much as the possible to cover more projects through this fund. But always it is competitive. So regrettably, we are not able to fund all the proposals. But based on this ranking, we choose those which are going to be on the top. So basically, as you can see, we have no much say, but the review panel is the one decides the outcome. These are the criteria which are also listed on the RFA, used by the panels to decide whether a particular proposal is fit or qualified, at the same time is written in the highest standard. So as you can see, we have 5 criteria, and each of these criteria are equally treated. So make sure that all the criteria that are listed here, and also explain it in the RFA well, like the potential of advancing quality of education. So this is a proposal that is directed to education. So we want to see how is the improvement or the advance that you have made to the education, which means, you know, in other ways, looking the significance of the problem, if you have addressed it, what you have tried to explain, and proposed approach and collaborative linkage, and what kind of methods and what is the collaborative linkage you are created on that to address those issues. The institutional capacity and the capacity building. How capable is the institution? At the same time, what is the contribution of the proposal to build the capacity of the institution? The key personnel capability, the appropriateness of their expertise. So that is also one of the criteria. And finally, the budget and cost effectiveness. Are you using the budget that you are asking effectively to address the issues that you have raised? Is there any way to make it more effective than what you have proposed? Or you are on the top of the line for doing that. So this will give you the rating that is going to be assigned to the proposal, and the evaluators use this one objectively to evaluate the proposal. Remember, they will use the information that you submit. So make sure that as a reviewer, to see all the criteria are fulfilled. The timeline for average competitive program, this is what it looks like. The first 1 to 2 months we spend on the preparation, the proposal writing, planning, and submission. And coming 3 to 4 months on the proposal under review and proposal funding notification. And the last 1 to 2 months is dedicated for award finalization and making the award. So in general, we spend about 4 to 6 months to complete the whole process. So within those time, your patience is very important. We always keep you posted on the progress, including the receiving of the application to the end, whether this particular proposal is awarded or not. So this will give you some idea when to expect the outcome. Sarah, you want to go through the additional information?
Yes, I can go ahead, or I can keep addressing some of the questions. It's up to you.
Yeah, we can. How much time do we have?
We have about 15 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah, do you want me to proceed with the slide for you?
Sure. So we've just included here some additional information that would be helpful in preparing your proposals. Here's a link to previously funded awards. And I'll go ahead and put this link in the chat as well. Next slide, Solomon.
Okay.
And then we have links to our program webpage, the funding opportunity webpage, and like I said on the previous slide, previously funded projects. And I'll drop the links to all of those in the chat in just a second. We do have a few upcoming events and opportunities. You can go ahead and register to receive notifications regarding events, deadlines, reminders, any additional webinars for future. And then also go ahead and subscribe to our RFA release calendar so that you get early notification when on the day of when RFAs are released. Lastly, becoming a NIFA peer reviewer is, crucial to what we do here at NIFA. So there's a link there to panelist information and how you can get involved as a reviewer. Next slide. These are just some general resources, not necessarily specific to HEC, but that they may be helpful as you prepare your proposal. Other funding opportunities, other grant resources, the NIFA policy guide, information about indirect cost. And I think here should also be listed, we have some upcoming grant writing webinars that you could also access in those links that were on the previous slide as well.